think supportive challenging on a board is essential, because without that supportive challenge, how do you create change? If you're always going to do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So you do need to be able to have people who act as slight disruptors, but they've got to be respectful. They've got to be focused on what it is that change is, rather than a bigger political picture about what they're after. And they've got to be able to leave any other personal baggage at the door before they enter into that meeting room as well. So I think constructive challenge has a huge role to play within organisations. But you also have to, at the same time, make sure that the person who is doing the challenge is understood, respected and supported, as well as the people who are receiving the challenge aren't feeling got at, aren't feeling marginalised, aren't feeling ridiculed or belittled as a result of that as well. So you've got to create the structure for dialogue. Sometimes that's about setting ground rules, things as basic as no swearing. I know it sounds bizarre, but I have been in board meetings where it's got quite heated, about being respectful to one another, all of those basic things that we all take for granted, but that sometimes, especially if you know there's going to be a particular challenge, you can reiterate at the start of the meeting. And you've also got to be able to offer people an opportunity out of that situation as well. So when you create a supportive challenge on a board, you've got to be able to give people the time and the space to create and reflect on what's been said as well. Don't expect to pounce on people and get them to make a decision there and then. That creates tension. It creates an uncomfortable atmosphere. If you pounce on somebody in a board meeting and say, you haven't done this, why have you not done this? They'll get defensive. What you don't want them to do is kind of then flitter that out and say, oh, it's so-and-so's fault, it's so-and-so's fault. You want them to contain that and either admit it or give you a very rational explanation and not a defensive explanation of why it's not been done, and ideally to apologise if it is down to them. You can only do that if that person feels safe, and sometimes we don't always create that safe space within boards.